Technology is so fun. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Arts for the Health of It. I'm Richard Wilmore.
And I'm Catherine Pardesini.
Catherine, it's Book Lovers Day today.
Oh.
Did you know that?
No, you always know these things and I don't.
Well, there's a little website that I use and love all the time. I think it's called nationaltoday.com. They're not a sponsor, but you should always go on there, and they just have fun things that you can celebrate every day. And today is National Book Lovers Day, and it's National Health Center Week.
Oh, okay.
So I felt like that might be relevant to what's happening in here at Arts for the Health of It. So thank you to all of our health partners that bring us on board at Hearts Need Art.
Yes. And
also the ones that will, once they watch this podcast and realize how much fun we're having on it. Catherine,
do you have a joy card today?
I do have a joy card today, and it's relevant to what my day was when I looked at it, so that was pretty fun.
Okay, good.
It's the third week here in the series of joy cards. Here are the joy cards that you can go on Amazon or Joy Cards, and
it's like a box set. If you haven't seen these before, you need to look them up.
All of them are custom designed with artwork. Here you go. And then it comes with a guidebook for every day, and every day it gives you a little artistic thing to do to bring you joy. And then you go to the joy guidebook, and then it tells you more about what to do. But today is tune in to turn off, unplug from technology, as we're plugged into like 19 different things on this podcast.
We have like 5 cameras. Yeah.
After this, we're going to unplug. It's to improve relationships, be present, turn off technology for 15 minutes a day during meal times or before sleep. So how will you unplug today, Catherine?
I think setting like after a certain time at night, like no more technology, because I'm definitely in the habit of like scrolling at night, and that's not going to help me fall asleep. It's
not supposed to, or you're not supposed to pick up your phone right away in the morning either, is what I've read.
Right. Yes.
Do you think that's doable? Do you think you'll be able to do that?
It is doable. It's just doing it.
Doing it. My turn off technology today was when the internet wasn't working, and I was forced to.
It was mandatory.
Yes, it was mandatory. Like mid Slack message, it just went out, and then we had to like call, and so I just sat there and I meditated, and I was like, all right, I'm going to take advantage of this.
Nice.
So that's what I did.
So you've already done it today.
I did it today. So stop yelling at me to turn off my technology. Tomorrow might be a different story. I don't know. Who knows? Tomorrow you should not turn off your technology and listen to the podcast.
Yes, because it releases officially tomorrow.
Yes, if you're watching this live. Catherine, we have a gala coming up at Hearts Need Art.
We do. It's just basically a month away.
A month away, September 15th, Night of 1,000 Hearts.
Here we go.
Oh my gosh, there's interactive music, painting, poetry, plus auctions, live and silent. We're doing group projects. There's free caricatures. There's patient artwork. There are performances. You can dress up however you want as long as it has hearts in it. You can wear pajama pants. You can wear a ball gown, whatever you want. Also, there's food, drink. And those 4 wonderful, beautiful people on that screen, Sansiri, Hannah, Jeff, and then that other guy will be there throughout the evening. Tickets are available. So if you're in the San Antonio area, make sure you go to heartsneedart.org and join us to see really what it's like to receive arts in healthcare. Yeah.
And tickets are seats are filling up. So if you're waiting, I wouldn't wait much longer because it is filling up.
Spoiler alert, if you're watching it this week, there might be a coupon code coming out on Friday that you could get a cheaper ticket. So just wait for that if you want to.
Friday's an important day.
It's a big day. So pay attention to our social media on Friday. Yeah, it's going to be really fun and very, I don't know, there's an open bar.
So just show up. Yeah.
If there's no other reason to come, that would be it. We do have a really, really fun guest today, Brooke McKinney from Art with a Heart, who I met. You've known her. You've known of Art with a Heart for longer.
Yes, that's where I was first exposed to arts and healthcare a long time ago.
How did you find them?
I had a professor in college who had a partnership with Art with a Heart. And so I was able to do an internship through University of North Florida. So it was because of a teacher that believed in arts and health that I got to have that experience.
Yes. I met Brooke a couple of years ago at a National Organization of Arts and Health conference, I guess it was. And everybody would get us confused because Art with a Heart, Hearts Need Art. And so they were like back and forth, and no one knew who we were. But I'm glad that we have kept in touch, and she's here today to help us. We're going to heart tangle with Brooke today. Because it's not doodling, because that sounds not as much fun. And it's certainly not Zentangle. No. So we are heart tangling today. And I would like to bring Brooke out and start the show if we're ready.
Yes. We're ready?
Let's do it.
All right.
Come along with me, and I know you'll see that a song changes everything.
Hi, Brooke.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you guys?
We're happy you're here.
Yes.
I'm very excited to be here.
I always like to start out with asking where you're from, because we've interviewed people from all over the world. So let's put a location to where you are.
I'm a Florida girl, born and raised, grew up in Pensacola, and I have been living in Jacksonville for the past 11 years. So Florida through and through.
Yes. I loved when we met in Gainesville was where we met. And I was like, I could live here. I loved Florida. My brother lives in Florida now. I don't know. I'm just saying. I love Florida.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's a good time. We had fun there. How did you get into the arts in general, even before arts and health? Were you always that artsy kid, or how did you fall in love with them?
I feel like I must have just come out of the womb with a pencil. Actually, back in the day, it was all about those gel pens.
Sounds painful.
That's a visual. Yeah.
I think like just to say that from a very early age, I have just always gravitated towards art. I couldn't even pinpoint it to an exact age. I just think ever since I could hold something in my hand, I was doing it. And fortunately, my parents, my grandma, everyone, teachers, everyone just kind of seemed to believe in me and nurture that artistic spirit as opposed to dampening it. So I'm very grateful for that because it's ultimately led me to where I am today.
And can you share kind of how you were fast forwarding a little, but how your journey with getting into arts and healthcare and how you came upon Art with a Heart?
Similar to you, Catherine, I also did the UNF internship with Art with a Heart. And so that was my original exposure to arts and health. And I absolutely fell in love with it. So I continued on as a volunteer until I was ultimately hired as an artist in residence.
And you've been doing that, is it 6 years now?
Since 2016. So actually 8 years. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you love it? Is it still like, for me, I still get the, oh my gosh, I can't believe I get to do this. Or there are always moments where you're like, holy crap, this is real life. Do you still go through that?
Yes. There are days where I'm like, I can't believe I'm getting paid for this.
Yeah.
It's a dream. Yeah.
Yeah. What do we, I know you brought a project for us today. So I want to start that so people can work with us and do it along while we're chatting. Can you tell everybody a little bit about what we're doing today?
Well, we're calling it a heart tangle because hearts need art and art is nothing without heart. We're tangling all the hearts together. And it's super, super simple. All you need is paper and a pen or a marker. a pencil, just whatever you have on hand. So this is my example piece. I'll kind of just try to keep it in the frame, just to have that reference. But yeah, if we want to get started, it's a pretty repetitive movement. So once you just understand the basis of it, you can just kind of turn it into however you want it to look, and it can kind of become almost mindless in a way, to where you can turn off your frontal lobe and overthinking things and just kind of let your imagination and your pen flow.
I need that today, so I'm excited.
Yeah. So if you just grab your marker or your pen, and we'll start with kind of a squiggly line diagonally across the paper. And then I kind of like to do squiggle, squiggle, and then this little point, and then squiggle, squiggle. Technical term is squiggle. Let's see, trying to get this into frame better. It's all backwards. There we go. Okay, so then on your line, you just put little dots, just kind of spaced out. Like I ended up having 5 dots. And then we're just keeping it old school back in the day, connecting the dots. And that is pretty much all we're doing. So you just connect the dots that are closest to one another and kind of make these little shapes out of it. And you can do however many lines. The more you do, the more your page will be filled up. So if you kind of want a simple version of this and you don't want the entire page filled up, just do less lines. But if you like the look of the whole thing being covered in marker and line work, then just do, let's see, this one I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 lines, but it does not have to be exactly that. And so we're just connecting the dots.
Do you recommend not using color right now, or could you use colors?
I've never done this with color, but you totally could. And I also have a second example of a way in which you could add color at the end to kind of have a different spin on it. But I would recommend, if you are doing it in color, to just use one color for the whole thing, just maybe for your first time. It might just make it easier to figure out. And for the end point where you run out of room, I like to just let my lines run off of the paper.
I got so excited about the first one, I forgot that I had others to do. I was in here like, it looks like a giant blown up balloon pumpkin thing. And I was like, oh yeah, we have other lines to make. Sorry. I'm a little behind.
That's perfectly fine, because once you just know this initial part, you can kind of just do it at your own pace and just fill it in leisurely. It's not about like how fast you get it done. If anything, you want to take your time and enjoy the process.
This is one of those projects that I imagine when you initially show it to someone, they think, oh my gosh, that is so complicated. And then you break it down and it's actually very simple, but it's the repetition that creates that really dense design to fill up the page.
Yeah, that's what I love about it. It looks like something really cool, like, whoa, how do you do that? I could never do that. And then you're like, look, it's just dots and lines.
Look, I'm doing it. Yeah.
Yeah. So once you have your initial dots and lines across this, then we are just going to do the same thing, just from other dot points. And it can be pretty random, just more squiggly lines coming from the dots. And then we're going to be doing the same exact thing we did with the first one. So we just have more lines to fill in rather than the one across the paper. So we're just creating more lines coming from our dots. And then we'll go in with more dots, just like we did before. And then we'll just do the same thing, just that simple, calming repetition work.
I know you said you feel like you've You've been drawing since you were born, basically.
Yeah.
Is this a process that you do personally when you're art making? Like, do you doodle daily, or is it this particular type of project that you like to do? Because I've seen some of your art. So, and we should show some of Brooke's artwork.
Yes.
Let's see. There we go. So if you're listening, Brooke has these pieces that it's a map, and overlaid on top is some imagery that she's created. I'd love to hear how you make that. Are those doodles? It looks like a print, like a block print.
Would probably make my life a lot easier if it were a print. But it's actually just pens, my micron pens. So I don't always do this exact sort of heart tangle type project, but I do enjoy pens and drawing most of all. And I find that it's just the easiest way to get myself to do art is like, all you have to do is take out a pen. That's so simple.
Yes.
Rather than like, all right, let me get out the paints. Let me find my paintbrushes. Let me, there's not as much supplies, which means there's not as much cleanup. It always just sounds a lot more doable in my brain. For the map project, I do go through and paint blue on the water just to make sure that it's a more solid surface to work with, because I actually just get the maps from AAA for free.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And then I like to do Florida because, try to appeal to people here as like a local artist, and then incorporating sea creatures and plants and marine organisms that would be found in Florida, so that it all ties in together.
I think what's great about this also is, like you said, you don't have to spend really any money on doing this. Everybody, I assume, I guess, has a pen in their lives where you don't have to go spend a bunch of money to go create something that looks really cool.
Right, exactly. If you are going to get, micron pens, they are a little bit higher of a price point, but other pens work just as well, especially if you're not trying to make something that's for sale. You're just trying to do it for the health of it, then a regular pen is fine.
Can you tell everybody about Art with a Heart and what y'all do and what you do there, and a little bit more about the program? Yes,
I would love to. Art with a Heart was founded in 2001, so we've actually been around for more than a couple of decades now. Started off very small, but has since grown, and we have a whole team of artists and residents. There's about 15 of us, I think. And we have interns from UNF still, like Catherine and I did. And when the hospital opens back up, we will have our volunteers back. And our team goes to the hospital 6 days a week. And we work directly with patients at the bedside or in groups, actually both on any given day. We're doing both. Thankfully, post-COVID, we are back to having 2 patients in the playroom at the same time, which is where we have our group sessions. But if they are unable to leave their room, we just bring everything right to them. We like to say that we turn their patient rooms into an interactive art studio, and we're trying to transform the space into a fun, creative, safe place rather than a hospital room. Really try to transcend the hospital walls through art. In addition to the hospital, we are also at a clinic. We are at multiple healthcare facilities in Jacksonville, actually. Primarily Wolfson Children's Hospital, working with children, but we also have team members who go to the Mayo Clinic and St. Vincent's. And we also offer behavioral health group art sessions with both children and adults as well. So we are all over the place trying to make ourselves as available as possible, because art is something that we believe should be accessible to all. It's not just people who need therapy. It's not art therapy. It's just art as a coping mechanism in the hospital and as a tool for healing and enhancing well-being.
Yeah, and accessible, like for people who aren't quote unquote professional artists, right? Like,
right.
But like when you do a project like this with a patient, what is kind of what does their reaction tend to be when they see what they've created?
I mean, working with kids, you can't match their level of enthusiasm. They are just so excited. It's a range of reactions, but most commonly they're just so excited just to dip a paintbrush into paint and put it on paper. They don't have to be creating something spectacular. It's just the act of doing it.
Right.
Some kids will just get caught up in just mixing the colors, and they are just so enthralled with that. They either don't have the opportunity to use paint, or maybe they use paint at school where there's a lot more rules about not mixing the colors, and you have to paint this, you have to paint that. And here it's just like, here you go. I'm here to help you. I'm here to, assist you in your creative process as much as you want, but also there is no agenda. There's no end product that you are trying to make. You're doing the session in accordance to your wants and needs, and just whatever makes you happy is the definition of what makes it successful.
Right. For their own self-expression.
Right.
Yeah.
And the freedom in that of not caring really about the outcome, or that it's for something or someone or for a grade or to be looked at. Like, you're just doing it just to do it.
Yes. And I think if any adults can learn something from kids, it would be just letting go of that. Like, oh, I'm not good at this. It's not going to turn out well. This looks horrible. Like, adults tend to do that so much more than kids. And
yes.
And that's something I like to learn from them, is just this, like, hey, I'm just making something and it's fun and it's cool and I'm experimenting. And if it doesn't look that great, that's fine, because I'm having fun. Like, I just love that mentality that kids tend to have.
What I try to tell patients is most of my stuff ends up hanging on the walls of a garbage can. But it's fine by me.
Yeah.
It's not about where it ends up.
Exactly. It's just empowering patients to make choices. In the hospital, you don't get to have a lot of say in anything, pretty much. You don't have a say on who comes in your room, who does what to you and your body. Like, you have really a diminished sense of control. So when we are working with patients, they can tell us, no, I don't want you to come in my room and do art with me. And, that's totally fine. And then once we do make art, if they choose to do so, we don't tend to have a set out project like this one, unless it's something they're interested in, because we would rather them make the choices, and rather than be like, here's this project, you need to do it this way. We like to give them as much freedom of choice as possible, give them back that sense of control.
Right.
What's the last creative thing you did for yourself?
For myself, I guess it was kind of for myself. I really enjoy painting flower pots, just like terracotta flower pots. I was intending to sell them, and then I just really love them, and now they're all over my house.
That's awesome. I'm keeping this.
Tends to happen. And so they're bringing me joy. So, I guess I guess that's the most important part.
I love that.
Hmm.
Well, we are still doodling away over here.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, heart tangling. We're heart
We're
tangling.
heart tingling.
Yeah, so
Um,
you can just keep adding more and more lines. I didn't really say that,
Yeah.
but yeah, you can just keep adding more lines, and you just keep doing the same thing until your paper fills up, pretty much.
Can we? Do you want to show yours, Catherine? Our progress.
Sure.
Yeah.
Let's see what yours
This is what's happening.
Ooh. I like that they're different sizes.
They're kind of, they're
Cool.
they're all over the place. Do you
Oh,
feel like
wow.
sharing, Richard?
Sure.
Let's see.
Oh.
Oh wow, you're almost all filled up too. That's great. Yours look like flowers.
Yeah.
I want to. I mean, like probably after this because no one wants to watch me do that. But I want to like add some color in here. I think that would be really cool to see if it can like pop with color. Oh, bye, Brooke.
Yeah. So I ended up on this one. I left a little bit more blank space, and then I did add a little color. So that's something you could totally do as well.
Wow.
In any way
That's
you want to
really cool.
do, but just wanted to show an example and where you can add some color.
I mean, it looks 3-dimensional. Like it looks like you would have to wear those little glasses in order to
We need
see
some
the
of
full
those.
effect. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so cool.
So we'd also like to hear about Art with a Heart has a partnership with MoCA Jacksonville. Should we take a quick break, Richard, and then we can chat
Talk
about that?
Yeah, so then we can work on these more, and we'll see how far we get during the break.
Okay, we'll be right back.
Whether you consider yourself a musician or not, music is all around us, and it affects our everyday lives. Whether it's background music influencing our shopping habits in a store, organ music adding the vibe to a baseball game, or a playlist convincing us to keep going on that last mile of a run. I'm Mindy Peterson, host of the podcast Enhance Life with Music, where we take a holistic look at the power of music in our everyday lives through the lens of science and health, sports and entertainment, business, and education. You can find me and Enhance Life with Music at mpetersonmusic.com/podcast or wherever you get your audio. Unleash the power of music.
Medical professionals are burning out at an alarming rate. Burnout can cause health workers to feel hopeless, trapped, helpless, worthless, depressed, sleepless, and tired. By joining the Hearts Need Art Gratitude Grams program, medical staff receive a personalized email and video from a musician, an artist, or writer once a week that includes a message of thanks, an encouraging song, uplifting poem, or a simple art activity. After watching their gratitude gram, participants report feeling more hopeful, empowered, energized, and appreciated. If you are or know a healthcare worker that would like to receive free gratitude grams, please visit heartsneedart.org.
We're back with Brooke McKinney of Art with a Heart. While I was working on this during the break, it reminded me of like when you're mowing the lawn and you know how like you try to put like the lines in there so it looks really cool. That's what this reminds me of. Like and how satisfying that is when you're done and you look at it and you like
Yes.
that's
It is one of those oddly satisfying things.
Yes.
So, if you could tell us about, I feel like that's one of the things that makes your program unique is that you have this partnership with the Museum of Contemporary Art Jacksonville. If you could share some about that.
Yeah, sure. For the past going on 12 years now, we've had a partnership with MoCA, the local museum, and each year we have a patient art exhibition with different unique theme that patients make art to reflect. There's usually a question. This year it is what lifts you up. So each patient created hot air balloons containing all the things that lift them up, bring them joy, make them happy, elevates their mood. So all the artwork falls under this theme, but then they're all very unique and personalized to the patient. And they work one-on-one with an artist in residence from our team. And we are just there to support them, to guide them, and to help make their artwork into bring their visions into life. And then their art is shown at MoCA this year. It will be on display from September 11th until, I think it's going to be up until February this year. But we have an opening on September 11th from 2 to 4 p.m. at MoCA. So it is open to the public. If anyone out there wants to join, we might be live streaming it. I'm not 100% sure yet, but I know last year we did when we weren't able to be in person, and that was pretty cool because then more people can join from all over, not just people local to Jacksonville. So we can share all that information, I'm sure.
And when you approach patients with the idea of creating a piece of artwork to be displayed in a museum, what do you feel like that's intimidating? Is it exciting? Are they?
Yeah, I feel like I would laugh. Like if someone came to me like, okay, we're gonna create a piece that's gonna be hung in a museum, I'd be like, oh, okay, sure.
I know, right? I'm like, my art hasn't even been in a museum. But no, most of the time they're really excited. We try to feel out the patient to begin with to see like what their level of enthusiasm with art is. Because if it's a patient who's just kind of like, oh, okay, all right, I guess I'll do it, then that wouldn't be someone who we would like approach with a project that big. But if they're already into art, then we just tell them and make it sound really fun and cool. And they're usually just so excited. They're like, what? My art's in the museum? And then just getting to paint on canvas as well. It's really fun. Usually we're just painting on paper. So the canvas
feels more official.
Really official. Exactly. Yeah. And then it's so cool when the patients will come to the opening and see their art in person, and their families will come, and sometimes nurses or other people from the hospital will come, and so it's amazing to see just how proud they are, how proud their families are, and then it's a way to bring everyone together in the community outside of the hospital walls, and so it's a really special event.
What that was, I think we have a graphic for that, don't we?
Oh, we do. Here we go.
Here we go. Oops. There you go, September 11th.
Yay.
And where do people go to learn more information or figure out how to get there?
Our social media would probably be the best place. I post on our social media, and I'll always be sure to post as many updates and reminders as possible. So yeah, our social media, our website, but I would say our Instagram and Facebook have the most daily content to look for.
Good. Catherine, did you do anything during the break? Brooke, were you able to do anything during the break?
I just added more.
I just want to see.
Yeah, just added more line. Oh, which way do I go? This way.
Hold on. Let me find you. And here, we'll do that.
Nice.
It's pretty.
So it is, I think, satisfying. That's the word. It's a satisfying process. And I'm noticing too that it could be kind of easy to start to go too fast, maybe. Like I have to remind myself to slow down. And just go one line at a time.
Right. But then in the end, there's so much going on that you aren't going to be able to see your mistakes. That's what I also like about it. It's just like the mistakes, quote unquote mistakes, they just get lost into it. It's not evident.
What is a tip, Brooke, besides heart tangling, which is obviously very easy and fun, do you have a tip for someone who isn't artistic and would like to start? Like, what's something that they could do right now besides all of the things we've given them today to do?
I would probably start with whatever piques your interest. Like if you've ever been like curious about something or slightly interested, maybe just go with that. And I mean, there's plenty of YouTube videos out there. Art with a Heart has a lot of YouTube videos of art tutorials that we try to cater that kids can do, or maybe just less artistically experienced adults could do. And just start with the basics and start with what interests you. Don't do something you're just trying to make yourself do because you feel like you want to do something artistic. Like, do something that makes you happy.
Yeah. And if heart tangling isn't it, try paint, and maybe you'll love painting. Right. And if painting isn't it, try something else. There's an endless amount of stuff you can do.
Right.
I'm going to I think, so this is my last, then I'm going to start putting.
Let's put you up there.
Oh, sorry.
Awesome. Whoa. That turned
wow.
out great.
And I'm going to start adding color because I don't know why, but I feel like it needs color. Oh, that's me. Very large. Let's get rid of that.
There we go.
Brooke, it has been a pleasure having you here.
Yes. It has been a pleasure being here with you guys. I could do this all day.
I know. I feel so relaxed now. Like,
great.
I want a bigger sheet of paper. And I just I was that person who, you know how like people will fill an entire notebook up with like little circles, like they just start in the corner. And I've always tried to do that. And then I get bored or my circles keep getting bigger because I'm like, oh my gosh, this is never going to end. But this was an easy way to kind of fill that need of like repetitive, just random stuff, but in a way that actually I can finish. So I feel like I did something.
There's a direction to it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad you enjoyed it. Can't wait to see your finished product with the color.
Well, we'll post it. And if you're doing this at home with us, make sure you post it and tag us and tag Brooke and show us what you're doing.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks everyone for listening and watching. Make sure you're subscribing wherever you're doing either of those things. And don't forget to keep creating. We will see you next time. Thanks, Brooke.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Arts for the Health of It, a podcast produced by Hearts Need Art, creative support for patients and caregivers, in partnership with the National Organization for Arts and Health. You can help others learn about the healing power of the arts by subscribing, sharing, and reviewing the podcast wherever you listen or watch. The podcast is hosted by Richard Wilmore, co-hosted by Constanza Rader. Our theme song, Songbird, is written and performed by Natalie Lane. Visit heartsneedart.org to learn how you can support our mission to create joy with people facing life-altering health challenges. Join us next week to learn more ways you can create arts for the health of it. The views expressed on this podcast do not necessarily reflect the views of Hearts Need Art, their staff, board members, or other affiliates. All content is created for informational purposes only. This podcast is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice or to diagnose and treat any health condition. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified health professional with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition. Never disregard professional medical advice or delay in seeking it because of something you heard on